Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1. You are going to listen to a talk about the library. Look at questions.
Good morning everyone and welcome to our library. The library was opened in October 1975 and lies on the western side of the campus. It has seats for 630 readers and serves all the schools of studies which are located on the main campus. There is a branch on the Library of the Management Centre which covers the works appropriate to management and business studies. The library has a stock of about 400,000 volumes, including some 63,000 volumes of journals and periodicals. You will be able to borrow up to 12 books at any one time, the normal loan period being 8 weeks. To give all students an equal opportunity to read those books for which there is a heavy demand, the library holds multiple copies of some titles. There is also a quick service collection which contains the books most heavily in demand. You can study these books in the library, or can borrow them overnight or over a weekend. There are certain categories of books, including the General Reference Collection, which you can only consult in the library. The library subscribes to around 2,900 periodicals, and current issues of most titles are shelved on special display racks. You can borrow periodicals either for 2 days or overnight, but current issues are all indexing and almanacs are restricted to use in the library. Because of the detailed and specialized nature of postgraduate work, you may need to consult material, which is not held by the library. Since no library can now be self-sufficient, given the rapidly increasing rate of publication throughout the world, the library enables you to obtain books and periodicals from other libraries. Through the interlibrary loan system, you can have access to almost every major collection in this country and to many abroad. The library does not actively collect early or rare books, but several important items have been bought, generously given or deposited on permanent loan. There are collections on the history of pharmacy, dyeing, and local history, and some first editions of J.B. Priestley's works. These can all be consulted in the library. Books and periodicals are not the only vehicle for the storage and retrieval of information, and the library maintains a collection of other resources which are available for your use. We have the Self-Access Language Centre. It's on the second floor, directly opposite the reference section of the library, next to the Micro Lab. In the Self-Access Centre, the library also provides access to information stored in computer dating banks in Europe and the United States. Other materials which are kept by the library and which you will be able to consult are copies of these and dissertations completed by Bradford students, past examination papers, newspapers and pamphlets. All these are in our reserve section, opposite the computer room on the second floor as well. The proliferation of books, periodicals, and all other forms of information available through the library makes the keys to this information an essential part of the library's services. The library maintains a catalogue of its own books and a printed list of its periodicals. It takes most of the important abstracting journals and has a collection of bibliographies and guides to the literature of various subjects. There is a computerized information service known as LIBENE, which provides information on the library and its services, and which can be accessed both in the library and via the university's computer network.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
You will hear 3 students discussing a language project.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
So, we need to get this field trip sorted out as soon as possible, don't we?
Yes, let's get started. James, have you worked out which 2 countries we should travel to?
Well, I thought we could go to the USA and Mexico because that's where the populations of most native languages are concentrated. But then I found out that the 3 languages we're most interested in are more widely spoken in Canada than Mexico, so I think we should go there instead.
OK. Anna, weren't you going to think about our research focus?
Yes, and I think I've found 2 areas that would work well. Firstly, use of the 3 languages, Nardini, Salishan and Algic among the younger generation, people up to the age of 25. I found out that although there are many older speakers of Algic, it's used much less by the young. In fact, young people under the age of 25 use both Nardini and Salishan more than Algic.
That's interesting. That means that native language use isn't really being affected by the older generations anymore.
So what's the other focus area then, Anna?
Well, it would be good to try to find out what affects changes in native language speaker populations.
You mean things like family life and the influence of popular culture or tourism?
Yes, areas like that, but not tourism or culture because they're too general. I think we should look at whether family has an impact in terms of passing on native language use, and possibly the effects of government language policy too.
Government figures can be deceptive, but they're still worth looking at. Maybe we should also focus on something like job creation and work statistics and the number of people who leave the USA to live in another country instead.
Yes. I think emigration would be as useful as language policy.
OK then, let's focus on those 3 as well as what happens in families.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20.
Well, shall we look at our route now? Most of the speakers we're looking for are in California, so we could start there. We can spend 2 weeks travelling around and meeting people to get some background information, and then start collecting data.
What do you think about beginning in the southwest corner of the state and visiting the Barona Reservation?
That's a good idea. We'll be able to get some interviews with native language speakers there. And then we could go to the Eastern Mountains to visit the local education authority of North County. They've got a native language project for school children.
Why there? Wouldn't it be better to go to the education department in San Diego? It's bigger.
But they focus more on Spanish and English bilingualism and less on native languages.
In that case, the North County Education Authority will be more valuable, so let's do that. After that, we could head southeast to the town of Bishop. There's a company there called Cotec, which employs only bilingual speakers. I've emailed the managing director, who's happy to give us an interview.
Oh, that's great work, James. It sounds like something we should definitely do.
Right. Well, I'll email her to confirm.
Also, we should go to Sun City. It's this bilingual town in the south-central area of the region. They have a policy whereby all signs in the town must be in the local language as well as English. We can take photos of these signs. They'll make good visuals for our report.
But won't that be intrusive for the people who live there?
No, they're used to it. The village is used as a model for other communities who'd like to do the same thing.
In that case, let's add it to the itinerary.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You will hear a conversation between a tutor and two students in the Political Studies Department of a New Zealand tertiary institution. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Good morning. Now, you've come to discuss how our Parliament works. Is that right?
Yes, it's a bit different from some of the other democracies we've studied, and we're a bit confused.
Well, what do you know?
We know that the system of government in New Zealand is a constitutional monarchy, but we're not sure how the power is shared or who has ultimate authority.
The government is formed from a democratically elected House of Representatives. Is that the same as Parliament? Yes, the House of Representatives is what is commonly called Parliament.
And the government advises the sovereign, who is our head of state.
The sovereign is the Queen of England, right? She lives in England and she is the Queen of England, but when we refer to her as our sovereign, we say she is Queen Elizabeth II of New Zealand. But how can she be our head of state if she doesn't live here?
I know that she has a representative here.
Oh yes, the Governor-General. That's right. Now, by convention, the sovereign is the source of all executive legal authority in New Zealand.
So she's the boss?
Well, you could say that. However, she or her representative almost always acts on the advice of the government, in all but the most exceptional circumstances, that is.
So, where does the real power lie?
Good question. Our system is based on the principle that power is distributed across three branches of government: the Parliament, the Executive, and the Judiciary.
But Parliament makes the law, doesn't it?
That's right. So what's the point of the other two? Well, you need a body to administer the law. That's the executive, made up of ministers of the Crown, and the judiciary interprets the law through the courts. Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
When I'm watching American legal programs on TV, I always hear people talking about the Constitution and how something is unconstitutional. What exactly is a constitution?
It's a document outlining the basic laws or principles by which a country is governed.
Do we have one?
No. This would actually make a good topic for next semester's debate. There's quite a bit of controversy over that particular issue. New Zealand has no single written constitution or any form of law that is higher than the laws passed in Parliament.
OK, I think I've got that. The rules about how our system of government works are all contained in the laws that have been passed by Parliament?
Those laws are called Acts of Parliament, but there are also other documents issued under the authority of the Queen and some relevant UK Acts of Parliament. Really? But it's all written down, right? Not exactly. There are several unwritten constitutional conventions as well.
I can see why this would make a good topic for debate.
Altogether, though, our system is quite simple because our Parliament is unicameral. What does that mean? It means there is just one chamber, the House of Representatives, and there is no upper house.
I see. By upper house you mean a second house, like a Senate?
In the American model, yes, but the British have a House of Lords as their upper house, don't they? Yes, but the Lords don't have to be elected.
But we have elections every 3 years to elect our people's representatives.
Yes, and the electoral system is called proportional representation. A lot of democracies have quite different voting systems.
Why is ours called MMP?
That stands for Mixed Member Proportional Representation. So that's why each elector has 2 votes. Exactly. One for a local Member of Parliament for the particular electoral district you live in, and one for a preferred political party. So that's where the proportional part of it comes in. Political parties are represented in Parliament in proportion to the share of votes each party has won in the party vote in the general election. Any more questions? No, not at this stage. Thank you for your time today. OK. See you in class tomorrow. Bye.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear a talk given by an ethics professor on cheating. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. First of all, I would like to thank you for enrolling in this optional ethics course. For some time now, I've been pushing to have it made compulsory for all first-year university students, and you'll soon see why. Today's topic is cheating. For as long as there have been tests, assignments and examinations, there has been cheating of some form or another. How do we define cheating? Well, quite simply, some say it's a violation of the regulations. But what is that set of laws? Who composed them? And are they reasonable? Interestingly, a survey of Year 7 to 12 students last year showed that over a third of them cheated by cell phone during a test. Some by texting answers, and a much smaller percentage by searching the internet. Over half, yes, over half, of the survey's participants admitted to cheating of some kind. But, and this is the thing, many of the students didn't even acknowledge web-based cheating as cheating at all. Most thought that phone cheating or downloading a paper off the net was nothing other than a minor offence. So what's the implication? If it's not a serious offence, is it acceptable? We live in a digital age where learning is all about sharing information. And, let's face it, students today have seen so many instances of music, videos, images and text copied online without rightful recognition given as to their origin that I'm not sure whether you even fully understand the concept of plagiarism. But we can't blame the digital age alone. I know that ours is a high-stakes education system. By that I mean there is a great deal to be won or lost by a good or bad grade. If we scrutinise the system, we may well affirm that cheating isn't really dishonest. It's merely a survival skill. For many teachers and students, it's the product that counts, not the process. By process, I mean the way it is produced. You see, when learning becomes nothing more than information sharing, knowledge or data aren't figured out and understood. They're just retrieved and passed on. How much is actually absorbed? When we discuss cheating, we must look at the educational environment as well as the morality, or lack of it. Researchers have found that environments conducive to cheating are those where the focus is wrong. Sometimes instructors have no meaningful relationship with their students, perhaps due to overcrowded classrooms and lecture halls or individual personalities. Secondly, students who cheat are most often the ones who think the task is pointless or the amount of work is overwhelming. If the classroom is a place where learning is genuinely engaging and the emphasis is on openly exploring ideas, there would be no necessity for cheating. A third, and very important point, is that grades and marks matter more to some students than what they're doing. And lastly, achievement is taken to mean outperforming others, and these competitive practices encourage cheating. Anyway, I fail to see the value in working alone and cramming information into short-term memory. Real collaboration and cooperation puts the focus on thinking rather than on memorizing. I have to say that it's the actions of teachers, classroom organisation and cultural background that have as much to do with cheating as individual student behaviour. Of course, some students cheat by plagiarising or copying because they simply don't understand the material, nor do they have any confidence in their writing skills. But I think the majority of students end up plagiarising because they just don't know how to cite sources correctly, or how to sum up others' ideas in their own words. These reasons have remained the same for centuries. It's really just that the digital age has made it easier. But remember, teachers use technology to spot plagiarism too, so it's also very much easier for them. First-year students should have to complete a compulsory writing skills course, where the rudiments of proper referencing and summarising are taught. I also think it's a big mistake if ethics is not a first-year requirement as well. In this university, I think it's only the computing department that insists all its students complete a paper in ethics. Learning and education is not just about cramming facts or increasing your knowledge base. It's about intellectual integrity and honesty and rising to meet higher ethical standards. Now, this may necessitate a change in pedagogy and educational philosophy, but most importantly, it will involve a challenge to engage students in discussion on morals and academic morality.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you can guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests. to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.